What's the point? This is a question that came up to me. I was doing an exercise called Kailegoing, also called Remembering the Future. And I was doing it for a 3-month period where essentially I would pretend that I'm 3 months in the future and I was reflecting on the past from now until that future. And one of the things came up is something I want to do, a change in profession, a change in what I do in helping people and helping people realize their potential. And what came up to me is, what is the point of living in a way that's comfortable but makes you miserable? What is the point in continuing to allow yourself to suffer through something that is completely unnecessary? And obviously there are situations where you have to do something for survival, and I understand that, and that's not what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about someone who literally has to do something because they won't eat if they don't. But I think for most people, or at least most people who will be watching this, there's this big idea of success, or of I need to do certain things to gain certain things, whether it's money or security. But what is the point of that so-called security if you're miserable while in that place? Wouldn't it be a much better idea to have the happiness, to be able to put yourself in a place where you're coming from an energy that you want to come to, where you wake up every day and you get to do what you do, and you actually come from that mindset of I get to do this instead of I have to go do this? Like, would you rather go to the thing where you say I have to do this because of A, B, or C? Or would you rather have no justification for why you're doing what you're doing and just say I get to do this? I'm so appreciative that I get to do this. I get to wake up and do this, and maybe it makes less money than the thing I was doing before. Maybe it's bizarre and people think it's weird and it's not mainstream, but you know what? At the end of the day, I absolutely love it. So what is the point of the comfortable situation, which I can tell you, I was in the comfortable situation for so long, and it wasn't comfortable. It was comfortable. I was comfortable with my uncomfortability, if that makes sense. I was comfortable with my insecurity only because I'd been doing it for so long. It didn't actually feel comfortable. It didn't even actually feel secure. It was just I was afraid of letting go of it because of the unknown, because knowing that if I let go of it, I had to move into something greater. I had to move into something that wasn't as known, and therefore, yes, it's scary. But I will take that decision every single time than living a life of relative mediocrity based on what I consider that to be, or living a life where I'm sacrificing what I believe is the best thing in life, which is the feeling of love, the feeling of happiness, the feeling of joy, of being able just to feel that just because you want to feel that. And I never want to sacrifice that feeling of just excitement for being you, that feeling of love that you have because you know you're doing what you want to do, that feeling of happiness, because not because of things outside of you, but because you know you can just be happy. And so what is the point of doing things that moves you away from those things that for some reason we don't value as much as this thing called money, or this thing called security? I mean, if you're in a job you hate, is it really secure? What if you get laid off out of nowhere? What if something else happens? What if you get a new boss and you can't stand him and it makes your life miserable? Is that really worth the security opposed to the, I guess you would call it being unsecure or insecure, because you'd leap into the unknown? And just because something is unknown, we always seem to tend to lean more towards the unknown being scary instead of the unknown being excited. So what if you got excited about the unknown? What if instead of thinking, well, that's unknown and so it's scary because all these bad things could happen, what if instead of thinking from that restrictive, tight kind of place, you became more open about it and thought, this unknown is exciting. You know, imagine what could happen, you know, imagine what could come out of this, all the great things for my life, the lessons that would come out of it. Anyway, I just wanted to make a quick video on that. There's a lot of things I just threw at you, but it was just a thought I was having of what's the point of living in a way where you're not chasing, not even chasing, but you're not being exactly what you want to be, because you get to be exactly what you want to be. And maybe it won't happen, you know, immediately, but you get to do that. And so wouldn't it be worth pursuing that? Wouldn't it be worth putting yourself in that energy instead of being in something just because it's secure, or being in something because that's the only thing you've ever done, or being in something because you're afraid of taking that leap into the unknown, which you know feels good, which you know you're being pulled towards? You know, it's a big question, but what is the point of living in a way that you know is going to lead you down a path of mediocrity because you know there's more within you, opposed to taking that chance, taking that leap towards the thing you know you probably will fall in love with. Anyway, I hope that's stimulated something within you, and thanks for listening.